Good morning / afternoon, everybody. It is everyone is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to bring you live coverage as President Trump gives a press conference with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. That's scheduled for 46 minutes from now. You know, maybe it'll start late, I don't know. But we're going to cover that live for you, and we're going to take your comments and questions. You never know what President Trump will say in his press conferences. So we're going to bring it here for you. And we'll bring you also other updates about the Trump administration while we wait. While we wait. Look. Hold on, I'll show you something here. Here they are meeting right here. Here's a picture of them meeting from today, from AP. But I mean, I assume he's not going to just talk about Japan in his press conference, Trump. He could talk about all kinds of things. We don't know. It could be short. It could be a long press conference. You never know. You never know. So I appreciate you guys being here. Here's another headline. Trump to meet Japan's Ishiba as China trade war simmers. Hey, thanks to Outsider, our new member, and also PZ Papa Zulu for the gift memberships. And shout out to our moderators. We have Janet B. Beth Mythical moderating right now. Roberts May Queen on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Linda Belglary, Misha on X. Thanks also to our Twitch moderators, Idaho Star and Surly Dev there right now. And thanks to Graybeard Games and Qbat for subscribing on Twitch. I appreciate it. And also over there on Facebook, thanks to our mods there as well. Christina Neal, K. Lowry Body over there, moderating right now. Josie is watching from the Netherlands. Hello. Sir Dinko says, what country are we taking over today? Stacy, I haven't heard any big updates on the missing plane in Alaska. If I do, I will let you know. We covered it overnight. A plane with 10 people on it is missing in Alaska. So I'll let you know if I hear any more about that. Okay, so we'll talk just for the heck of it, we'll talk a little bit about this. I'm going to talk about the Trump meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan today, but I also want to talk about other stuff going on in the Trump administration as well. So you can see here, just AP says, this is the Japanese Prime Minister's first meeting with President Trump. The Japanese Prime Minister also met with the CEO of SoftBank and OpenAI, Sam Altman. It's a tall order for the Prime Minister Ishiba to replicate Trump's relationship with Shinzo Abe, who resigned as prime minister in 2020 and was then assassinated by a gunman as he delivered a campaign speech in 2022. I remember that. That was terrible. Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba is making it a priority to connect with Trump, says AP. He took office in October. He is just the second world leader to visit the White House during Trump's new term. The first was Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. He was expected to spend a little more than 2 hours with Trump for a working lunch and a joint news conference before making the return trip to Tokyo. As the two met in the Oval Office, Ishiba said through a translator he was inspired by Trump's undaunted spirit when he was shot in the ear in an assassination attempt during the campaign. Ishiba is looking to ensure that the U.S. and Japan stay on solid footing with the return of Trump and his America First worldview. Both countries have been challenged by China's growing economic and military assertiveness in the Pacific and concerns about a nuclear-armed North Korea. Trump, in the talks, intends to discuss joint training exercises, Japanese investment in the U.S. economy, improving cybersecurity capabilities, increasing space cooperation, and promoting joint business opportunities to develop critical technologies, including AI and semiconductors, Trump administration officials said. The U.S., by the way, had more than a $68 billion trade deficit with Japan in 2024. Trump pays a lot of attention to the trade deficit as an indication of economic fairness and strength of the relationship, said a senior administration official. By the way, Japanese companies employ nearly 1 million Americans and have held the top spot for cumulative foreign direct investment into the U.S. over the last 5 years. That's just a little background on this. And then the headline, the lead in the Reuters story about the meeting. Ooh, look, there they are. There is the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba and Trump today from Reuters. But again, I don't think the press conference will be restricted to. My assumption is that Trump will be asked about all kinds of things at the press conference. You never know. Reuters says President Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba met for the first time today as two allies wary of China's rise work to boost business and security ties while an escalating trade war threatens to rupture the global economy. Trump's friendships with countries in the Asia-Pacific may be tested as Trump's early fight with China over synthetic opioids and warnings of tariffs against other countries, Japan included, threaten to disrupt commercial relations in Asia and beyond. By the way, Japan is especially trade-dependent, Reuters says. It is a major exporter and counts on imports for much of its food and natural resources. And many of its firms are deeply invested in and reliant on China. Japan is girding for Trump to demand concessions to reduce the $56 billion bilateral trade surplus and stave off the threat of tariffs. There are tensions beyond trade, including the attempted takeover of U.S. steel by Japan's Nippon Steel? Former President Biden blocked this but delayed enforcement pending legal action. Trump has also vowed to block the deal. All right. So again, he is in town. They are meeting. I think they're meeting now. Ooh, hold on a second. Do I have video for you? I might have some live video for you. Hold on a second. Maybe. Give me a second here. The video's kind of messed up. I have something of them. Where is it here? Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not live. It's not live and it's a bit messed up, so I'm not going to play that. Oh, hold on. Here, this is from Reuters. This is from AFP. Of them talking. This is recorded. This is a short while ago. Wait a second here. Let me put it on the screen for you. Can I get it on the screen for you? There it is. Let me get the volume going. I can't hear it, and it sounds weird. Something's messed up with that. It's a little messed up. Why am I not hearing anything? Yeah, it's some sort of, it's like, it's supposed to be a recording of what happened, but it's like messed up. So let me see if I can get that fixed. Give me a second here. Also, why couldn't we hear it? Let me do a little test here and make sure we can hear something. Make sure the sound is working. I'm going to see if I can hear myself. I have to. No, my headphones are not working. That's the problem. That is the problem. Let's see if I can get this to work. Give me a moment. Hang on. Let's see. Am I going to hear two of my... Now I can hear. Okay. So the video, I'm going to tell AFP that their video is messed up. Hi, you're playing a video of Trump and the Japanese anyways, I'll let them know. Something is going on with their video, I think. But yeah, again, so that's just, this is not the press conference right now. This is AFP has a video of a meeting between Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister a short while ago. It's not the press conference. The press conference is going to be live. But I want to show you that video. But as soon as they can fix it, I'll show it to you. So I just messaged them. Now it's like paused, that video. All right, anyways. Let me take some comments from you guys. We'll talk about some of the other Trump administration stuff. 34 minutes until this is supposed to start. Yeah, Eric Johnson says, at the last photo shoot, Trump did answer a lot of questions. Right, so I don't even know if they took questions in this Oval Office appearance here a few minutes ago. We'll see as soon as I can get the video. Okay. Red God One says, does Trump speak Japanese? I don't believe so. By the way, I wonder if Trump will be asked about straws. Trump posted about straws today. Oops. Hold on. Oh, we have video. The video is playing. The video is playing.
To what extent will you discuss North Korea today, sir?
That'll always be a topic, especially with Japan.
we will be discussing North Korea and many other things. We'll be spending pretty much the day, but that's always a topic.
Mr. President, have you changed your mind about the sale of U.S. steel?
No, I think we're going to be discussing that today. No, I haven't, and I hear we'll have some pretty good information on that. You might want to go.
Tariffs an option, Mr. President?
Have you? Okay.
President, are tariffs an option if the deficit doesn't get to equilibrium or to equality?
Yes, they are.
Mr. President, can you discuss what your plan is for reciprocal trade? Are you signing an EO on that today?
I'll be announcing that next week, reciprocal trade, so that we're treated evenly with other countries. We don't want any more or any less. So I'll be announcing that next week. And many other things having to do not even with trade, but other things. But I'll be talking about reciprocal trade sometime next week. We'll have a news conference and we'll lay it out. Pretty simple. It affects everybody, yeah. Reciprocal, yeah. We'll be talking about that next week.
伺いたいんですけれども、今関税を課すっていう話になってるんですけど、関税が課されることについてはどのように考えていらっしゃいますか？
お互いにそれが利益になるようにということが重要なことだと思っております。合衆国の発展、そして日本国の発展、そのために有益な制度となることを期待をしておりまして、具体的なことについてはまだこれからということになります。
I understand that the key point in this regard is to make that for mutually beneficial. That means that would benefit the development of the United States as well as the development of Japan. And I do hope that whatever measures and actions should meet this criteria, meaning that serving the interest of both countries. But as to specifics, I understand that we are going to have further discussion.
Correct.
Mr. President, are there any specific concessions that you will be asking for from Japan that you can share?
We'll be having, I think it'll be very easy for Japan. We have a fantastic relationship. I don't think we'll have any problem whatsoever. They want fairness also.
それはうまく進むと思います。日本は素晴らしいパートナーですし、彼らもことがスムーズに進むことを期待していると思います。これは双方にとってです。
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけれども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか？
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか？
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID. That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous, and we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. But he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions, Mr. President, at any point? Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions?
Oh, sure. He'll be. He's not shy. Elon's not shy.
Any further deliberations on Gaza, sir? The timetable for a takeover?
No deliberations. It's been very well received, where basically the United States would view it as a real estate transaction, where we'll be an investor in that part of the world, and no rush to do anything. We wouldn't need anybody there. It would be supplied and given to us by Israel. They'll watch it in terms of security. We're not talking about boots in the ground or anything, but I think we'll the fact that we're there, that we have an investment there, I think would go a long way to creating peace. We don't want to see everybody move back and then move out in 10 years. This has been going on for 50 years, much more than that. We just want to see stability. That would be having us have that particular peace in that particular location, I think would show great stability and would lead to great stability in the area for very little money, very little price, and we wouldn't need soldiers at all. That will be taken care of by others. And the investments are taken care of by others also. So for no investment, I mean virtually no investment whatsoever, it would bring stability to the area, and others can invest in it later on. But we're in no rush on it. There's absolutely no rush.
President Trump, do you believe DeepSeek is a national security threat, and how do you plan to collaborate on AI initiatives?
On where?
DeepSeek, do you believe it's a national security threat?
No, I think it's happening. I mean, it's a technology that's happening. It's actually, I think we're going to benefit if it's correct what's going on now, that it'll be a lot less expensive. The AI we're talking about will be a lot less expensive than people originally thought. That's a good thing. I view that as a very good development, not a bad development.
Mr. President, on autos specifically, in your first term, you tried to tariff autos. Is that on the table still? Are you trying to do that in your second administration?
Auto tariff?
Auto tariff?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's on the table. That's always on the table. It's a very big deal. Because we are, we have cases where we don't supply autos and other countries do, and, we have to equalize it. We have to stabilize it and equalize it.
Will you have Vice President Vance meet with President Zelensky next week while he's in Europe?
I will probably be meeting with President Zelensky next week, and I will probably be talking to President Putin. I'd like to see that war end for one primary reason. They're killing so many people. You're losing millions of people on a battlefield. In this case, mostly the battlefield. You have 800,000 or 900,000 Russian soldiers are dead and very badly wounded, and the same thing with Ukraine. You have probably 700,000 with Ukraine. The numbers they gave are a little bit lower than that, but I believe those numbers aren't correct. I'd like to see it end just on a human basis. It's terrible what's going on. They have open fields with no protection. The only thing a bullet can hit is a human body, and the human body dies as soon as it gets hit. Now, I'd like to see that end. It's a ridiculous war. It would have never started if I were president. That war would have never started. Putin would not have started that war if I were president. And by the way, you wouldn't have had October 7th if I was president either. That mess would not have started. But no, I would very much like to help out. One of the things we're looking at with President Zelensky is having the security of their assets. They have assets underground, rare earth and other things, but primarily rare earth. And we want to have security. Really, we want security because, as you know, Europe is putting up much less money than us. NATO, Europe, call it whatever you want. And we're at probably 300 billion plus, and they're at probably, the real number is 100 billion. That's a lot of money, but it's 200 billion less than us, and there's an ocean in between. They need it more than us, so we're asking them to equalize and get even. But we're also asking President Zelensky for the security of, we're putting all this money up, and we're saying, where does it stop? And yet, we want to see it out to an end. We want to see it end. But we are going to be asking for the security, and we've already told him, of an equal amount of something where our money, I mean, the American taxpayers in for $300 billion. Biden never negotiated. He never told Europe to put in more money. And it got out of hand, just like NATO. NATO, we were paying almost 100% of NATO. When I first came in, everybody was taking advantage of the good old United States, but not anymore. So what, and now, if you speak to the Secretary General of NATO, who was very nice when he was here 2 weeks ago, he said what Trump did was amazing. He got everybody to pay. And to do that, you have to ask. And Biden never asked. So we're in for probably close to $200 billion more than Europe. And yet, obviously, it affects Europe much more than us. So we would like them to to equalize They have to go more. And from our standpoint, we do want security in all this money that we're putting up.
And you're speaking with him next week, sir? Is that what you said? You're going to speak.
He may meet next week, yeah. Whenever he'd like. I'm here. I'm here. Could be Washington. Well, I'm not going there.
Are you planning to meet with President Putin, or are you just planning
It could be.
It
It could be. We've always had a good relationship. President Putin and I have always had a good relationship. That's why it's so sad that it happened. This would have never happened if I were president. It's so sad to see it happen. So many dead people. By the way, so many cities are demolished. They're like, you talk about Gaza? Well, take a look at Ukraine. So many of those cities are demolition sites. Demolished. So sad. Should have never happened. All those beautiful golden domes, but much more importantly, all those beautiful people are dead. And it should have never happened. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Brad. Let's go, guys. Come on, guys. Hey, let's go. Thank you, guys. Let's exit. Thank you, guys. Let's go, guys. Out this way. Guys, let's go. Come on. Thank you. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Guys, let's go. Let's move, guys. Guys, let's go. Guys. All right, guys, come on. All right, thank you, guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Guys, let's go. Come on. Out.
Okay, I think they were just replaying the start of the video again. So that was President Trump with the Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba, but Shigeru Ishiba. That wasn't the press conference. That was just the appearance in the Oval Office before the press conference. That was via AFP. So coming up is the press conference. So that's what we're going to watch next, is the press conference. You heard Trump talk about a little about Gaza, about Ukraine, about Elon Musk. And we're going to have that press conference coming up, guys. Coming up. I should get some video before it actually goes live, hopefully. So if I do, as soon as I have video of the press conference room, I'll bring it to you. By the way, a quick thanks to Ascertainment on Twitch and C50 Pack. Thanks for subscribing. Over there on YouTube, thanks to Marnie, Wee Sleuth, Stacy Bashford, Crypto King, and Turned Off. So we are waiting for President Trump press conference with the Prime Minister of Japan. We're going to take some of your comments and questions on the air. Is he doing another with Netanyahu? Netanyahu is not there anymore. So if you mean today, no, he is not doing a press conference today with Netanyahu, if that's the question. At some point, I would assume he might again. Thank you, Liza. Let me also just make sure I don't have... make sure I don't have, and there's not any huge breaking updates right this second. I like to keep checking periodically. Ooh, let me check one thing here. He did say he's going to be something about reciprocal tariffs. Hang on a moment. Hang on. Trump says he will announce reciprocal tariffs, guys. Show you something about that. Here I found it. Oops, not there. Right here. Trump says he will announce reciprocal tariffs on many countries next week. AMR says press conferences never start on time. Yeah, it certainly could start late. I would not be surprised if it starts late. You never know, though. Yes, as Mary B points out, we did see the vice president Vance and Secretary of Defense Hegseth were on the couch there next to Trump. Oh, thanks so much to Hildegard Coffee. That's incredibly nice of you. Hildegard Coffee, thank you. Thanks for the support of the channel. One of our viewers said, has Putin ever come to the U.S.? Didn't he come during Trump's first term? I mean, he was at the UN, right? No, he did not come. Well, I'm looking at Perplexity. Perplexity points out he met with President Bush in 2007 in Maine. He met with President Obama in 2015 at the UN. He also met with President Bush in 2001. Okay, according to Perplexity, his last visit to the U.S. was 2015. When he attended the UN General Assembly. Jelly Plane says they normally meet in Europe. I'm checking to make sure at some point, hopefully I get some video from the press conference room, but I don't have it yet. So as soon as I get any video, I will show it to you. Yeah, I did not give you a comprehensive list of all of Putin's visits to the U.S. I was just mentioning some of them I saw. You can see here, Trump says he will announce reciprocal tariffs on many countries next week. This is from Reuters. President Trump said today that he plans to announce reciprocal tariffs going back the other way. Reciprocal tariffs on many countries next week, adding the additional levies could help shrink the nation's budget deficit. The move would fulfill a Trump campaign promise to impose tariffs on American imports equal to the rates that trading partners impose on American exports. It was not immediately clear which countries will be affected. So new tariffs coming next week, supposedly. Trump told Republican lawmakers of his plans during budget discussions at the White House yesterday. Trump and top aides have said they plan to use higher tariffs on foreign imports to help pay for extending Trump's 2017 tax cuts, which independent budget analysts say could add trillions of dollars to the U.S. debt. Remember, tariffs on goods coming into the U.S. are paid by the importer, by the entity that's bringing it into the country. Wall Street extended losses on Friday following the Reuters report of Trump's discussion with lawmakers. Trump and his Republicans are aiming to unveil their ambitious tax and spending package this weekend after a 5-hour White House meeting on Thursday. By the way, I believe, is it March 14th? Where there will be a government shutdown without a new debt ceiling raise? Is that what it is? Yes. March 14th is the current budget deadline. Oh, it's not the debt ceiling. Well, I don't know about the debt ceiling, but the current spending bills only go through March 14th, I believe. Yeah, for example, I'm looking at a couple different articles that mention a March 14 deadline. Hang on a second here. So that's a date to keep your eye on. Oh, we should do a little poll here, maybe. Again, we're waiting for this press conference to start. Maybe we should do a poll. Jane Jones says eggs are at an all-time high. Connor Murica says Trump may surprise people and end up being one of the greats. XPFC Wintergreen says Americans will pay tariffs on foreign goods. Don't forget you pay. LL says Trump on Rushmore when? Flumpingtons says, yay, full-blown trade war. What a time to be alive. Can't wait to be poor. Marnie says, he is the greatest. Inaris, too, says, we will be in a depression in 3 years. Okay. Let's do a quick poll. Will there be a government shutdown in March? That's if the Congress doesn't pass a new spending bill that the president signs, there will be a government shutdown. Will there be a government shutdown in March? Yes or no? I am asking this in the chat right now, and we'll see what you guys have to say as we wait for the press conference. Let me just post it all that on Facebook too. Hang on, posting it on Facebook. Then we'll show you the results as we wait for the Trump press conference coming up. Okay, I am putting the poll up. Okay, I said to you guys, one moment, will there be a shutdown in March? And I'm going to see what you guys are saying. Here's an article from yesterday. Republicans say they are nearing deal on Trump's tax cuts, divided on cost. Okay, over there on YouTube, the vote right now, will there be a government shutdown in March? The vote is 39% say yes, 61% say no. Okay. On Facebook, 67% say no, 33% say yes. And on Twitch, we have we have 58% say no, 43% say yes. This is kind of, it's like in 5 weeks. It's in 5 weeks. John says Dems are already having a hissy fit over Doge. They'll shut it down. Thank you, John, for your support. I appreciate that. Kurt says, I heard there's a press conference in Alaska being given by Nome Fire Department in an hour. Well, if I get updates while I'm on, I don't know that I'll have video of that, but if I get updates while I'm on the air, I'll let you know. Thanks, Kurt, for mentioning it. Where is the poll? It's posted. All right. I appreciate you voting. So again, we have a majority on YouTube and Twitch saying no, but a sizable minority saying yes. Thanks for voting in our poll. We're getting close to the press conference, supposedly. Let me just see if I have video for you of the room yet. No, there's no video of the press conference room yet. As soon as I have it. By the way, the CNN headline is Trump administration laying off nearly all USAID workers tonight. We should, USAID. Yeah, almost the whole staff is getting laid off, supposedly. Maybe we can talk about that for a second. Hold on a moment. There's too much to talk about here. I think it's from the reporting I've seen, just a few hundred people out of 10,000 or more will be left at USAID. That's what the reporting says. Where is it here? Hang on a moment. Hang on. Let's see if I can get you that report. Yeah, for example, the New York Times had an article yesterday, Trump administration to lay off nearly all of USAID agency staff. They're supposed to, and they say the Trump administration plans to fire all but about 290 people out of the 10,000 or so who work at USAID. Look at this right here. This is from AP. Forced leave start for thousands at USAID under a Trump plan to gut the foreign aid agency. The administration told USAID officials yesterday it planned to exempt fewer than 300 people from global leave and furloughs ordered for at least 8,000 direct hires and contractors. Forced leaves pulling all but a small fraction of staffers of the U.S. Agency of International Development off the job around the world began today, while employee associations turned to federal courts to try to roll back the new Trump administration's stunningly swift dismantling of the 6-decade-old agency and its programs worldwide. That agency had been responsible for distributing the majority of U.S. foreign aid. State Department officials and others were appealing to the Trump administration to allow more USAID workers to remain on the job at least temporarily, including to manage the return home of thousands of USAID direct hires contractors and their families abroad. It was not immediately clear whether the reductions in staffing would be permanent or temporary, potentially allowing more workers to return after what the Trump administration says is a review of which aid and development programs it wants to resume. The administration this week gave almost all USAID staffers posted overseas 30 days starting today to return to the U.S., with the government paying for their travel and moving costs. The Trump administration and billionaire ally Elon Musk, who is running a budget-cutting Department of Government Efficiency, have targeted USAID hardest so far in an unprecedented challenge of the federal government and many of its programs. Since the inauguration, a sweeping funding freeze has shut most of USAID's programs worldwide. Oh, by the way, the press conference has not started yet. I'll change the headline. And almost all of its workers have been placed on administrative leave or furloughed. Musk and Trump have spoken of eliminating USAID as an independent agency and moving surviving programs under the State Department. Democratic lawmakers and others call the move illegal without congressional approval. Let me just change the headline because the press conference has not started yet. It's supposed to start soon. I'm going to change it to soon. So give me a moment here. I need to get rid of the clock. We don't need the clock anymore. And I'll say, we'll change this to soon. Trump press conference with Japanese PM. Okay. It's a little big. Okay. So we do this. Thanks to Lula Abel, who thinks Doge is the best thing. Thanks for your support. Thanks, Grevin Share, for your support. Grevin Share thinks the Dems don't have the votes for a shutdown. A few Republicans may drag it out for a day or two while they fight for their pork barrel earmarks. That's what Grevin thinks. Thanks, Grevin, for your support. Okay, so let me just fix this headline. We're waiting for the press conference to begin any time now. You never know what's going to happen when President Trump gives a press conference. You know, Trump is also supposed to sign some executive orders after the press conference. He is supposed to make a faith office announcement and sign executive orders. So if it's not too long after the press conference, maybe we'll cover that as well. Thanks, Blue Cow Dog, who says USAID used my tax dollars to spread their political ideology across the globe when we have so many issues to fix here in the U.S. No sympathy from me. Now, to clarify, USAID is spending money that was allocated by Congress. The overall amount. I believe they have some leeway into and how to spend some of the funds. You can see this here. Trump administration sued by government workers over cuts to USAID. This is from Reuters from today. The largest U.S. government workers union and an association of foreign service workers sued the Trump administration yesterday in an effort to reverse its aggressive dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development. The lawsuit seeks an order blocking what it says are unconstitutional and illegal actions that have created a global humanitarian crisis. Those actions include President Trump's order on January 20th, the day he was inaugurated, pausing all U.S. foreign aid. That was followed by orders from the State Department halting USAID projects around the world, agency computer systems going offline, and staff abruptly laid off or placed on leave. You can see down here the Trump administration plans to keep fewer than 300 employees out of more than 10,000. The agency's website says, as of midnight tonight, all USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and specially designated programs. So as of midnight tonight, I believe only around fewer than 300 people will be still actively working there out of more than 10,000. The lawsuit alleges that dissolving USAID, which was established as an independent agency in a 1998 law passed by Congress, is beyond Trump's authority under the Constitution and violates his duty to faithfully execute the nation's laws. We'll have to see if anything comes of that lawsuit. Again, we are waiting for the news conference to start. The scheduled start time for the press conference was 1:10 p.m. Eastern Time. A quick shout out to our moderators. I really appreciate them being here today. We have Big Ball of Yarn, Idaho Star. I Got That Fire, Papa Bear and Surly Dev over there on Twitch. We also have on Facebook, we have Kay Lowry Body, Christina Neal, all of our other moderators there on Facebook. Also on YouTube, we have Roberts May Queen, Janet B, Beth Mythical. Thank you, Sabrina, and Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. And thanks to the Gaming Murph for your support. The Gaming Murph says, it seems to me everyone has forgotten that Clinton fired 400,000 federal workers when he was elected, and nobody got upset because he was elected in part to cut government spending. I would have to look this up, this whole claim, and also see about similarities and differences between the two situations. I don't off the top of my head have good knowledge of that. Let's see here. I am seeing an article by PolitiFact about this, and PolitiFact had an article which said, under Clinton, the government offered mass buyouts, but there's a key difference with what's happening under President Trump. A bipartisan Congress overwhelmingly approved Clinton's program following months of review. And the PolitiFact article says that a few weeks into his presidency in 1993, President Clinton issued an executive order telling each government department or agency with more than 100 employees to cut at least 4% of its civilian positions over 3 years through attrition or early out programs. Congress paved a way for buyouts. In March 1994, Clinton signed a bill, and the legislation was passed 391-17 in the House and 99-1 in the Senate. And that legislation authorized buyouts for selected groups of employees. So that was a significant difference between the two situations. Also, there might be others, which I'm not, I mean, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just giving you a quick, one quick difference PolitiFact pointed out. Jay Hitchcock says over 3 years, not 3 weeks. Yeah, there's an article back. There's an AP article from back in 1994, which I'm looking at, which says President Clinton signed legislation today intended to help reduce the federal workforce by about 273,000 people over the next 5 years by offering buyouts to employees who leave the government. That legislation was passed overwhelmingly by Congress. Bipartisan, both parties. And those buyouts were, I don't know how much they actually did, but the buyouts were expected to reduce the workforce by nearly 12% over 5 years. I appreciate the Gaming Murph bringing that up. It's an interesting topic. Thank you, the Gaming Murph. Hold on, I have video. I think I have video I can show you. I think I have video I can show you. Give me a moment here. Give me one moment here. I have some video. I have the podiums. I have the podiums. There it is. Look, the room's empty. This is via AFP. Well, I can tell you with confidence it has not started yet. You are looking at an empty room. Yeah, 2 podiums. Is it podia or podiums? That's a good question. It's either now according to ChatGPT, it's either podiums or podia, but most English speakers would use podiums. Breaking news: the room is empty. John 1948 said probably both are acceptable. So the start time was originally 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. It is 1:22 p.m. and I am looking at an empty room. Oh, let's see. Oh, hold on. There's some people. It's not fully empty. The room is not completely empty. There are a few people in the room. Jelly Plane thinks it'll be 2 p.m. Now, President Trump is leaving town now. I think he is going. I have the schedule here. Yeah, he's go. Ooh, hold on. He's going to Mar-a-Lago. I know why that's so loud. Hold on, let me turn that down. That's my fault. Trump is going to Mar-a-Lago. President Trump's going to go to Mar-a-Lago tonight. So after he's supposed to do an executive order signing and a faith office announcement after this, and then he's going to Mar-a-Lago. Sorry about the beep. Sorry about the sound. Fred says, "Do I have the rights to that music, that sound?" We'll keep an eye on that. Let me just also check if I have further updates here. Read some more comments from you guys. Hold on a second here. Give me one moment. By the way, I have an update from Holly Otterbein, who's with Politico. I know some people will get mad at the mention of Politico because of some misleading information that's been out there about Politico, which I'll talk about in a second. But she reports that Elon Musk's team today entered the headquarters of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. 3 Elon Musk allies are listed as senior advisors in the staff directory at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau now. CFPB staff is, quote, mad as hell. Yeah, let me show you the stuff about, well, some people are saying not misleading. Well, let me show you some reporting about this. Trump promotes misleading claims about federal government's media subscriptions, from AP. Federal government payments to news outlets like Politico, the New York Times, and the Associated Press for subscriptions or to license content are in the crosshairs of Trump administration spending hawks, with the president yesterday calling it potentially the biggest scandal of them all. It's the latest in a series of skirmishes with the media, long a target of Donald Trump and his supporters. Okay? By linking federal government spending to the media, Trump has bundled 2 of his long-favored political targets in one rhetorical package, denouncing a common practice as improper while offering no supporting evidence for his claims. On Wednesday, the White House press secretary said the government had paid more than $8 million for Politico subscriptions and that Elon Musk's government efficiency team is working on canceling those payments. That quickly set off a social media maelstrom and a hunt by online sleuths for evidence of taxpayer spending on the news. Trump on his True Social platform complained about payments to the fake news media for creating good stories about Democrats. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all, they wrote. Governments paying for news outlets' content is common. Politico, in a statement to readers from the CEO and editor-in-chief, said it is not getting a government subsidy. It is a transaction. Just as the government buys research, equipment, software, and industry reports, some online voices are deliberately spreading falsehoods. Let's be clear, Politico has no financial dependence on the government and no hidden agenda. We cover politics and policy. That's our job. It has not been unusual for governments, federal and state, to subscribe to major media outlets to keep up on important or strategic issues. The U.S. State Department, for example, may depend on international news reporting for clarity on incidents happening in countries where the U.S. has interests. Specialists in an agency like the Department of Transportation follow trade publications for industry trends. The Politico Pro service, which is separate from Politico, it's not the same publication, it might all be owned by the same people, but it's a different news outlet. The Politico Pro service helps government and private sector customers track policy, legislation, and regulations in real time with news, intelligence, and a suite of data products, the company said. It would not discuss how many subscriptions it sold to Politico Pro or the prices. The New York Times said it earned less than $2 million last year through government subscriptions, which are offered at a discounted rate. Let's see here. An AP spokesman said the U.S. government has long been an AP customer through both Democratic and Republican administrations. It licenses AP's nonpartisan journalism, just like thousands of news outlets and customers around the world. It is quite common for governments to have contracts with news organizations for their content. Hold on. Where's the video? Go back to the video for a second. We'll keep talking about that. I'll take some comments. I just want to go back to the video. Here. There's the live video. Oop, maybe a sound check.
I'm Josh. Hello.
Here's some other facts about Politico.
Am I still in time?
Just to be clear. Some other facts about Politico. From an article from the Washington Post, Republican anger at USAID finds an unusual and erroneous target Politico. Conservative attacks on USAID landed on an unexpected target Wednesday when Elon Musk right-wing influencers, elected Republicans, and the White House zeroed in on subscription money that federal government agencies paid for Politico Pro and other specialty subscription publications aimed at corporations and government entities. By Wednesday afternoon, the White House press secretary announced that she had been made aware that USAID has funded media outlets like Politico. I can confirm more than $8 million has gone to subsidizing subscriptions will no longer be happening. In fact, records from usaspending.gov show political payments totaling only $44,000 from USAID during fiscal years 2023 and 2024. Records also show that federal government spending on subscriptions is not limited to Politico, but also includes payments to the New York Times, the Washington Post, and many other news outlets. But because of Politico's professional subscription business, its subscription payments were significantly higher than many of its peers. Last year, Republicans and committee offices paid for Politico's products, including $9,060 from the Office of the Speaker of the House, $84,000 from the House Committee on Agriculture, and $58,000 from the House Committee on Energy. Again, that's last year. And that's the Republican-controlled committees. In all, 38 Republicans in the House spent over $300,000 on Politico subscriptions in the first 9 months of 2024, and committees led by Republicans expensed almost $500,000 of Politico subscriptions in the same period, a Washington Post analysis shows. The day before the mini-scandal erupted, the White House's Office of the National Cyber Director signed a $35,000 contract for a Politico Pro premium subscription for 15 users, according to government records. So I'm just saying this because there's this story floating around that somehow Politico is gearing its coverage towards being pro-Democrat because Democrats in the government are paying it money. And that certainly doesn't seem to be an accurate description of what's going on. I just wanted to mention this because as soon as I mentioned a reporter from Politico, all these people in the chat started yelling at me in the chat about it. So I just wanted to clarify. I have read Politico for years. I certainly don't see Politico as an outlet that never posts negative stories about Democrats. It's fairly balanced from my experience with Politico. Anna S. says you are always one-sided. So I guess taking a publication that I have read for years and I know is not like in the tank for Democrats and pointing out facts about how no, it's not just Democrats giving them money to have pro-Democrat coverage and pointing out facts about how Republicans in Congress and the White House have spent a bunch of money on Politico subscriptions. That means I'm one-sided. Yeah, I guess one-sided on trying to get the facts out. That's my one-sidedness. Anyways. But I had to say it because as soon as I mentioned a reporter from Politico, people started shouting about me in the chat. So I am fine passing along reports from Politico. And I still haven't seen many people come into the room yet. But for all I know, there's more people there to the right. By the way, you can write to me on X at Lookner. By the way, as a reminder, Trump said today he is probably going to be meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky next week. Quick thank you to Pickled Witch and Zachsually. Pickled Witch and Zachsually. Applestein says the subs are $10,000. You can't spend that. The subscriptions on Politico Pro are expensive because it's a specialized product. It's not the same as Politico, the news outlet. So if you look at what Politico themselves said about this, Politico Pro is different from Politico. It is a professional subscription service used by companies, organizations, and yes, some government agencies. They subscribe because it makes them better at their jobs, helping them track policy, legislation, and regulations in real time with news, intelligence, and a suite of data products. It's marketed towards businesses and organizations and government agencies. And they say most Politico Pro subscribers are in the private sector. They come from across the ideological spectrum and subscribe for one reason, value. 90% renew every year. So they charge more for that, but that's not for Politico. I have not heard any updates about the missing plane in Alaska. It's still missing, as far as I'm aware. There was an update 39 minutes ago. The Nome, Alaska Fire Department said all families of passengers on the missing flight have been notified. Please keep families in your thoughts at this time. Search efforts continue by air and land. The plane has not been found yet. The plane, as we reported last night, it stopped transmitting data, and it lost radio contact about 12 miles offshore from its destination. The destination was Nome, Alaska. But nothing has been found so far. Nothing has been sighted, according to Nome Volunteer Fire Department. Ooh, look. Thank you to Frosta for your support and The Gaming Murph. The Gaming Murph says, I don't want my taxes going to any media publication. If officials want to read their own news, they can spend their own money. We pay them well enough. So, hey, look, that's, you're welcome to your own opinion about whether the government should buy subscriptions to things. I have worked at jobs in the private sector where where we used publications in the workplace and the workplace would pay for them. So it's a pretty common thing for businesses to buy subscriptions to certain things, but you might, have feelings on whether or not that's appropriate in the government. I mean, there's a lot of different types of government jobs too. Kellen says, this isn't the private sector, this is taxpayer money. Oh, I understand that. At the same time, I would think you would concede that there are some things people need for their jobs, right? So, for example, would you say that if a worker works for the government and they need a computer, that they should buy their own computer because it's taxpayer money? So, I don't think it being taxpayer money, I'm sure you would agree that some things should be bought for the workers. So the question would come down then to what do you think those things should be? And I'm sure people disagree on various things that they think should be bought. Which is fine. You know, it comes down, like in any business, it comes down to costs and benefits. The people who run a business might think, I think that if we provide these things for our workers, it'll cost us a certain amount of money, but
cuts on channel 1.
But we'll get more back in productivity from the workers. So it's just a decision that's made about costs and benefits.
You only hear channel 1 on your camera, but the head on, they hear channel 1 and channel 2. Yeah. Yes. We're good. 109876. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you very much. The uni. Hold on.
We're getting some audio from the room. Thanks, by the way, to PZ Papa Zulu, who says from Grok, Politico has left-leaning editorials. Well, I don't read their editorials, so I don't know that. Maybe they do. But editorial can often be different from news coverage. I mean, the Wall Street Journal sometimes has editorials that lean pretty far right, but I don't find that their news coverage the news coverage in the Wall Street Journal is quite different often than their editorials. Again, I have read Politico for years, and I certainly do not see it as a strong left publication. Pretty balanced, in my view, from reading it. I don't want to make this stream a debate on Politico, but I just, that's just I'm going to leave it at that. Let's see here. All right, it's 1:46. One of our viewers said they thought before that this would start at 2. It was supposed to start at 1:10 p.m. Our viewer Hungry Pillow points out that Japan is the biggest holder of foreign debt, according to Investopedia. Sorry, the biggest foreign holder of U.S. debt. Oops, let's see if we can get our video back. They are the biggest foreign holder of U.S. debt. Thanks, Hungry Pillow, for writing in. It says stand by. Oh, I didn't mention this. We didn't get to this. Trump did post today that I will be signing an executive order next week ending the ridiculous Biden push for paper straws, which don't work. Back to plastic. In case you missed that. Oh, the video's video's coming back right now. Here, look. Hey, there's people in the room. There's people in the room. Look. We got people. We got people. Thank you, by the way, to Frosta. Did I thank Frosta? Thanks also to Zach Shuley. Thank you, Zach Shuley, for your support. Michael MacIsaac, who liked the asteroid story. Oh, I should check if the odds have been updated today on the asteroid. Thank you, Applestein. Thank you, Sergey. Sergey says, wouldn't be surprised if Trump nationalizes domestic oil production since drill baby drill would crash the oil price. Thanks, Cyrus the Virus. And D, thank you, D, for your support. And B-Rad, thank you. And Queen of the South. And Dina Soul. Sorry, I'm behind on my thank you. Dina Soul. The Gaming Murph, thank you. And also Boomer Wow. And Creek Dreamer 62. And Blue Cow Dog. I'm so sorry about being delayed on the thank you. And again, PZ Papa Zulu, thank you. Hang on a moment here. Also, Bad Toastery over there on Twitch, thanks for your support. Douthis, thanks for the gift subscription. Thanks, Redefine Happiness on Twitch. Hang on.
Hi. No, I'm just checking. So I see Omar shot. They don't see
Five or five. That needs to go to pool 3. And Gabby, Margaret pool, whatever pool. Let's deal with 3 first, right?
Audio check, audio check. Audio check, 1, 2, audio check, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1. Hey,
Give me 1 sec here, guys.
POTUS, check 1, 2, audio check 1, 2. Audio check, audio check. Audio check 1, 2. On everyone's receivers, channel 1 is English and channel 2 is Japanese. On everyone's receivers, channel 1 is English and channel 2 is Japanese. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Audio check, audio check, audio check.
By the way, I just checked the NASA and European Space Agency tables. European Space Agency, the odds of the asteroid hitting in 2032 are the same as yesterday, 2.2%. Slight difference right now on the NASA site. Yesterday it was 2.3%. Today it's 2.2%. So right now both the European Space Agency and NASA have it at 2.2%. But I have to keep checking that regularly. Mark Foley says trending good. Yeah, very small change from yesterday from NASA. No change from ESA. Thank you to Massachusetts Mike for subscribing. I appreciate it, Massachusetts Mike. It is 1:53. Again, Trump, after this, is supposed to sign executive orders and also make a faith office announcement. Oh, I think I have something about that, about the faith office. Yes. Yesterday, Reuters, President Trump said yesterday he would create a White House faith office and direct the Attorney General to lead a task force on eradicating what he called anti-Christian bias within the federal government. Trump said the mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible, the IRS, the FBI, and other agencies.
Oh, question mark. Take this up.
He signed an executive order yesterday to establish the task force and its responsibilities. But I believe today he is supposed to make an announcement, makes a faith office announcement today and sign executive orders. Yes, Trump yesterday said he was going to create a faith office led by Reverend Paula White, who has served as a religious advisor to him for many years. Trump established a similar office at the White House during his first term and regularly consulted with a tight group of evangelical advisors. We are waiting for the press conference.
This is English, 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 English. あれ、合わせた方がいいですよね。English channel, English channel, English, 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 English channel, English, English. Okay.
Continuing on the English channel, testing, testing. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Testing, testing. Thank you.
There was actually an interesting article, if I can find this. There's a very interesting article in the Washington Post yesterday called "Gutting USAID Threatens Billions of Dollars for U.S. Farms and Businesses." It was very interesting about the farming. And it talked about how a lot of USAID foreign aid money was spent purchasing food from U.S. farms. Where is... So I don't know if that's going to become an issue in the coming weeks and months. The Washington Post said American farms supply about 41% of the food aid that the USAID sends around the world each year. In 2020, the U.S. bought $2.1 billion in food aid from American farmers. So that could be an interesting political situation. if that aid isn't continued. All right, we're getting ready here. We're getting ready. I'll probably switch to the White House feed when it starts, but the White House feed isn't up yet, so we're going to stick with this. There's a different feed I have too, I should have. There's Caitlin Collins of CNN. There's Doug Burgum there. I see Doug Burgum. The Secretary of the Interior.
Audio check 1 2. Audio check 1 2 3. Hey hey. Audio check 1 2. U.S. podium. Audio check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Audio check 1 2 3 4. Good. Okay. Luis, you good? Okay. Going to go to the Prime Minister's podium.
Podium 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Prime Minister's podium 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Josh, you want me to check this too? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Let me know when you're good. 1 2, good over there. Good over here on the right.
Mr. Obvious says, hope he is asked about Elon Musk again. You never know what he's going to talk about. We'll see. Or how long it will be. You just don't know. IR Greek says, or when it will start. Yes, you never know that either. I mean, people are there. Do I think Brazil will be mentioned? I mean, it just depends on what's asked. I don't know that they'll mention it at the start, but who knows what will be asked about. John says, I think they will mention tariffs. We talked about this earlier. President Trump has said that he's going to put reciprocal tariffs on some countries next week, but it's not clear which countries and what the tariffs will be. Thank you, Nicholas Sprouse, our member. Red Squirrel 82. Thank you. For the gift membership. USAID says the Trump administration has ordered all federal departments and agencies. AP says the Trump administration has ordered all federal departments and agencies to provide lists of every employee who has received less than a fully successful performance rating in the past 3 years. The memo was sent yesterday. The memo gives agencies a March 7th deadline. It also directs agencies to note whether any worker has been on a performance plan and requires agencies to report any obstacles to their ability to swiftly terminate poor performing employees who cannot or will not improve. It is looking like there are going to be major government layoffs and firings. As of midnight tonight, I believe, the large majority of the staff of USAID will be laid off. I guess they call it, what do they call it? Administrative leave. But basically, they're expected to get rid of all but around 300 people at USAID out of a staff of 10,000 or more. Jegel says about to get chopped. There is Secretary of the Interior Burgum. Sorry for the delay. Again, the original start time was 1:10 p.m. Eastern Time. It is now 2:07 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, I have an update from USAID. Alice Tekotsky of Business Insider. She is at USAID headquarters, and she reported that some signs there have already been taped over with black tape, and construction workers, it appears, are appearing to put tape over the main sign on the building that says USAID. I will post a link to the photos that she posted. I am posting it right now. She posted photos of where it would normally say USAID on the building has been taped over. Soon, the Trump press conference with the Japanese Prime Minister. If you go to the USAID website, it says that tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, all USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and specially designated programs. So, as I understand it, at 11:59 p.m. tonight, all but around 300 people will not be working at USAID anymore. Branson Stafford says, "Don't rush the man." I'm Puff Puff says they'd go collect unemployment. I don't know how it works. They're being placed on leave, so maybe they get paid for a little while longer. I do not know how that works. I assume they could collect unemployment after. I don't know how long they get paid for. The White House website, which will go live for this, I assume, they're not even live yet. Thank you, the Rimfire channel. Democrats have been stopped from going to the building of the Department of Education. They are mad. Yeah, I saw something about that this morning. I know sometimes when politicians are stopped from going into a building, sometimes that can be something where they already know they're going to be stopped before they go over, and they do it as kind of a PR thing. Now, I haven't read up on that. I just saw like a headline about it. But when I saw that, I was wondering, did they basically just know they wouldn't be allowed in and they go over anyway to make a statement, So I'll try to find something about that, but I don't believe they had like an appointment over there or anything. Yeah, so like AP said, Democratic members of Congress are denied entry to Department of Education. Then they had a news conference outside. But again, for all I know, they knew that would happen and they were just going over there to make an appearance, Axios said it's the fourth time this week Democratic lawmakers were blocked from entering a federal agency that has been targeted by Elon Musk's Doge. About 30 or 40 members of Congress went over there. They were told there was no scheduled meeting. Thank you, Rimfire Channel. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Robert Thorpe thinks the people at USAID will be paid through August. Is that true? I don't know. What is this story here? Hang on, I have something I want to mention, I think. Roblox, the video game service used by millions of young people, is part of an active investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission, says Bloomberg. Bloomberg News couldn't confirm the subject of the investigation. Is it Roblox? I don't know how to pronounce it. Roblox. Hang on one second here. Ethan Bolin says, I am 26. I was playing Roblox in 2008. Oh, false alarm. There's JD Vance. JD Vance is there. I guess it's starting soon. Maybe. We are now an hour and 8 minutes after the official start time. An hour and 8 minutes. Oh, hold on. You know what I got to do? Let me just do something real quick and get this ready for you guys. I'm going to switch over to this feed when it starts. Hang on. Hang on a moment here. I'll get rid of this thing that you see on the screen right now. Don't worry. Don't worry. Get rid of that for now. Okay. Okay, that's that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and
Hold
the
on,
Prime
hold
Minister
on.
of Japan.
Hold on. Here we go. I'll get you some better sound. Give me a moment. Give me a moment here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with the Prime Minister.
President
we had a picture
of the United
taken a little
States
while ago.
and the
It was
Prime
so
Minister
nice,
of
I
Japan.
thought I'd present it to you on stage. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with the Prime Minister. We had a picture taken a little while ago, and it was so nice, I thought I'd present it to you on stage. And here's the picture. I wish I was as handsome as him, but I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Remember that day. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm delighted to welcome Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru to the White House for the first time. And Prime Minister, it's an honor to have you with us, a great honor. Japan is a great country. Thank you very much. Japan is strong and proud. It's a nation that is home to one of the great civilizations in the history of the world. For nearly 80 years, the American-Japanese people have enjoyed a friendship like few others. We've had a great friendship across the vast ocean, and we found ourselves united by bonds of history, commerce, culture, mutual admiration, and great respect. After our meeting today, I'm confident that the cherished alliances between our two countries and others also will continue to flourish long and into the future. The military cooperation between the United States and Japan is one of our closest security partnerships, and it's one of the closest we have anywhere in the world. Our service members work together every day to defend our common interests. Japan is committed to double its defense spending by 2027 compared to my first term. They've invested a lot of money because of my first term. We worked on that very hard with Shinzo. You know, the great Shinzo Abe. And we look forward to seeing even more so. Shinzo and I worked very, very long and hard, and those numbers are very reflective after my first term. And now they're going up very substantially based on our conversations today. In addition to being vital for our shared security, Japan is one of the top purchasers of U.S. military exports and equipment. And I'm pleased to say that this week my administration approved nearly $1 billion in foreign military sales to Tokyo. The United States is totally committed to the security of Japan. We will extend the full strength of American deterrence capabilities in defense of our friend and ally, 100%. In the years to come, the Prime Minister and I will be working closely together to maintain peace and security, and I also say peace through strength, and all over the Indo-Pacific. And to that end, we also remain committed to the effort I began in my first term to ensure safety and stability on the Korean Peninsula. Prime Minister Ishiba and I spoke long and hard about a vital economic relationship between our two countries and the continuance of that relationship. The United States and Japan trade over $300 billion in goods and services each year. Japan has invested nearly $800 billion, and that's going to go up very, very substantially in the coming months, more than any other country. And they're going to have some competition. We have a lot of people coming in and investing in the United States. I think the feeling throughout the world has never been stronger about this country. As a result of our victory in 2024, the presidential election, the Japanese investment and technology giant SoftBank announced plans to invest between 100 and 200 billion dollars. And we have many other companies investing that number, higher than that number, some a little bit less, but we have trillions of dollars of investment pouring into our country now that you didn't have just a short while ago. Today, our teams discussed how our two nations can do even more to stay on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, along with the quantum computing, semiconductors, and other critical technologies. And they're coming out. The problem with technology, that kind, it's obsolete in about 2 days, so we have to start all over again. Doesn't last long. We agreed to cooperate even more closely to combat the Chinese economic aggression, which is quite aggressive. I'm also pleased to announce that Japan will soon begin importing historic new shipments of clean American liquefied natural gas in record numbers. It'll be record numbers. With our Secretary of the Interior, we were talking, I think Doug is here. Hello, Doug. Please stand up, Doug. Doug Burgum, everybody. We're talking about the pipeline in Alaska, which is the closest point of major oil and gas to Japan by far, less than half the distance of any other location. We're talking about a joint venture of some type between Japan and us, having to do with Alaska oil and gas, and that's very exciting. They're very excited about it, so are we. As we deepen our economic relationship, I made clear that the United States will be conducting trade with all countries based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. Chronic trade deficits not only undermine our economy, they really do, and we're going to get rid of the trade. We have a trade deficit with Japan of over $100 billion, but we're going to work that out, and I think very quickly, frankly. We can do it just on oil and gas. We can work it out, so we intend to do it very quickly. We both understand that. And as America welcomes new foreign investment, we also want to ensure that companies build their products and factories here in America, not simply buy the assets that we have. And Japan is going to be opening up auto plants. New auto plants are being built currently as we speak. They've just been started. Toyota is one, and Nissan's going to be doing something very exciting about U.S. Steel. They'll be looking at an investment rather than a purchase. We didn't like the idea. U.S. Steel is a very important company to us. It was the greatest company in the world for 15 years, many years ago, 80 years ago. And we didn't want to see that leave. And it wouldn't actually leave, but the concept, psychologically not good. So they've agreed to invest heavily in U.S. Steel as opposed to own it. And that sounds very exciting. And we're going to meet with Nissan next week, the head of Nissan, very great company, and they'll work out the details. I'll help. I'll be there to mediate and arbitrate. And I had the privilege of working closely with the great Prime Minister, as you know, and you know him very well, Shinzo Abe, the longest-serving Prime Minister in Japan's history. Likewise, I expect that this Prime Minister is going to be a great one. I really believe that he's going to be a great one. I've gotten to know him for not long, but I can see what they have. He's got the qualities of greatness. He's going to do a fantastic job for Japan and for the Japanese people. And I'd like now to invite the Prime Minister to say a few words, and then we'll take some questions. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President Trump, I would like to sincerely thank you for inviting me to the White House today, immediately following your inauguration. I also thank you for your very warm hospitality. I have come to Washington, D.C. with the hope of having a face-to-face meeting and deepening our mutual understanding at this early date with President Trump, who is now leading the United States, the most important country for Japan's diplomacy and security, and aligning our perspectives and visions that Japan and the United States should pursue. What should we do to advance the national interests of both of our countries in synergy and to realize peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific? I am convinced that the answer lies in further strengthening the strong and unwavering Japan-U.S. alliance to achieve a free and open Indo-Pacific. President and I concurred to strengthen the deterrence and response capabilities of the alliance and to work closely in addressing strategic challenges that both countries are facing in this region. I conveyed to the President that Japan, as an ally of the United States, is ready to share responsibilities and to play its own role. I also reiterated Japan's unwavering commitment to fundamentally reinforcing its defense capabilities, and we confirmed the unwavering commitment by the United States to the defense of Japan. We reaffirmed that Article 5 of the Japan-U.S. Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security applies to the Senkaku Islands, with half of the world's population and approximately 60% of the world's GDP. The Indo-Pacific serves as the engine of growth and vitality for Japan, the United States, and the world. President and I also concurred that the United States and Japan will make further efforts in a wide range of areas, working hand in hand together to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. In this context, we also concurred to further advance cooperation of the multi-layered networks of the like-minded countries, including the Quad, and trilateral cooperation with the Republic of Korea and the Philippines. We also discussed Japan-United States cooperation to bring about growth and prosperity. Economic cooperation, including on economic security, is important from the perspective of strengthening alliance cooperation. Japan is the closest economic partner of the United States and has been the world's largest investor in the United States for 5 consecutive years. Also, with the inauguration of President Trump, the momentum for Japanese companies to invest in the United States is growing even stronger. Today, I conveyed my willingness to cooperate together to elevate Japan's investment in the United States to an unprecedented amount of $1 trillion. President Trump and myself also concurred to elevate the Japan-U.S. partnership to an even higher level through improving business environment and increasing bilateral investment and employment, strengthening each other's industries, leading the world in developing advanced technologies such as AI and leading-edge semiconductors, and strongly promoting efforts to harness the energy of the growing market in the Indo-Pacific region. We also confirmed that we will cooperate to strengthen energy security between the two countries, including increasing exports of United States liquefied natural gas to Japan in a mutually beneficial manner. Regarding foreign exchange, as in the first Trump administration, close discussions will continue between Japanese and the U.S. finance ministers who are experts in this field.
We also held candid discussions on challenges the Indo-Pacific region is facing. We confirmed that we are resolved not to allow unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force or coercion, and to oppose such attempts in the East and South China Seas in order to fully defend a free and open Indo-Pacific. We also reiterated the importance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Regarding North Korea, we affirmed the need to address its nuclear and missile program, which poses a serious threat to Japan, the U.S., and beyond, and that Japan and the U.S. will work together toward the complete denuclearization of North Korea. As the abductees and their families continue to age, I conveyed my strong sense of urgency and determination directly to President Trump and gained his renewed strong support for the immediate resolution of the abductions issue. While this was my first face-to-face meeting with President Trump, We were able to openly and frankly exchange views, and our meeting turned out to be very productive and meaningful. As a result of today's meeting, which marked a new departure for the Japan-US relations, we are issuing a Japan-US Joint Leader Statement. This document will serve as a compass for further cooperation between our two countries. On the basis of these deliverables, I look forward to working together with President Trump, who I respect immensely, to usher in a new golden age of Japan-US relations. I look forward to welcoming you to Japan. And I'm very excited about that prospect. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions, please? Peter?
President Trump, I have two on Doge. Elon Musk said today, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. What does the First Lady think about that?
Oh, I think she'll be okay with it somehow.
So, Democratic lawmakers are really upset that Doge engineers have access to these Treasury payment systems. The Senate Intel bench wrote a letter to Susie Wiles. They're saying that these systems are used to disperse trillions of dollars each year and contain everyday Americans' personal information like social security numbers, home addresses, bank accounts. Why does Doge need all of that stuff?
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it, it's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military. We're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of money, Peter, being spent on things that bear no relationship to anything and have no value. We're talking about trillions of dollars. It will be, in the end, trillions of dollars being absolutely wasted, and perhaps illegally. I would say certainly in many cases illegally, but perhaps illegally overall. And I'm very proud of the job that this group of young people, generally young people, but very smart people, they're doing. They're doing it at my insistence. It would be a lot easier not to do it, but we have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption. We found tremendous corruption.
You mentioned the Department of Education. What did you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Well, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, you know, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland. China does very well in education. And then you look at us. We spend much more money than they do per pupil or any other way. But we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year, Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last. So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, you probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top. And the rest will come along. They'll have to come along competitively. And by the way, we'll be spending a lot less money. And we'll have great education.
As part of this Doge talks about the cutting effort, one of the Doge engineers was fired for some inappropriate posts. The vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes, red dress.
President, just how strong do you want Japan's military to be? And do you specifically hope that their increased military spending will deter China and North Korea? What did you talk about that today?
Well, I want our military to be the strongest. I also don't mind spending so much money on the military because we build it here. It's made in the USA, all made in the USA. We have, I rebuilt our military during my first term. Did a great job. We left some of it behind in Afghanistan, stupidly. There was no reason for that, but it was still as much as it was. It was billions and billions of dollars, but it was a small part of it. But we're going to have the strongest military by far. We have great people. I want to congratulate Pete Hegseth for having gone through the gauntlet. He went through a lot, but he got through, and he's going to be a tremendous, I have no doubt he's going to be a tremendous leader. And other of the leaders sitting here, they're in their own fields. We're going to do something very, very, very great, and we expect great things. But I expect the strongest military by far in the world, far stronger than China, far stronger than anybody, and that's the way it is. Thank you very much. Would you like to ask a question, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
This is Hiramoto from Nippon Television. My question, let me ask two quick questions.
Sure.
First, this is the first meeting between Mr. President and Prime Minister Ishiba. So what kind of impression do you have on him? And number two, do you have an idea or do you have a plan to impose tariff against Japan so far? Thank you.
I think that he is going to be a great prime minister. I think he's a very strong man, very, very strong. I have great respect for him. I've known him for a long time through a reputation. Shinzo Abe thought the world of him, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job as prime minister. A very strong person. I wish he wasn't so strong. I wish he was a little bit weaker than that, but that's what I got. I have to get strong guys all the time. He's going to be a great prime minister. I also, in terms of tariffs, I mean, we're going to have tariffs, mostly reciprocal tariffs, where we go with, and I'm going to be probably meeting on that Monday or Tuesday, have an announcement, probably a news conference, but probably reciprocal tariffs where a country pays so much or charges us so much, and we do the same. So very reciprocal, because I think that's the only fair way to do it. That way, nobody's hurt. They charge us, we charge them. It's the same thing. And I seem to be going in that line as opposed to a flat fee tariff. Okay? Yes, go, please. Please, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead?
This is Ota from Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. I have a question for Prime Minister Ishiba. So this is your very first summit meeting. What was your impression of President Trump? Were you able to build a good relationship of trust and confidence? In Northeast Asia, there are many challenges, China, North Korea, and so forth. And with President Trump, what did you appeal to him, and what kind of understanding were you able to obtain? On the economic field, there is the acquisition of U.S. Steel, the buy Nippon Steel, and there are expansion of import of LNG. What were the communication discussion did you have with President Trump? For the $1 trillion of investment from Japan to investment, what was his reaction? What about your communication on tariff front? This is the first time that I met with President Trump in person. So this was the first time meeting face-to-face. But for many, many years, I have watched him on television. So it was quite I was so excited to see such a celebrity on television, to see in person. On television, he is frightening. And he has a very strong personality. But when I met with him, actually, he was very sincere and very powerful and with strong will for the United States as for the whole world. I was able to feel that. This is not the sort of polishing or trying to suck up to him. For the world peace and for the regional stability that both of our countries need to play our role and make our endeavors and responsibility. As for the increase of our defense expenditures, it is not that we are told by the United States to do so. Japan, on our own decision and on our own responsibility, we need to increase our defense expenditures. But of course, we need to communicate and consult with the United States. But the responsibility is with Japan, and the decision is with Japan. Now, on the tariffs, that if it is mutually beneficial, tariffs need to be set. And as for Japan, as Mr. President has introduced to us, an unprecedented investment will be made from Japan to the United States, and so many jobs will be created. So $1 trillion is the target. And this will be to the benefit of the United States, but also to the benefit of Japan as well. Investment is mutually beneficial. So be it with U.S. Steel, as Mr. President says, it is not acquisition, it is investment. So the Japanese technology will be provided, and the better quality products will be manufactured in the United States, and the U.S. Steel will make products which will contribute not only to the United States and Japan, but also to the whole world. It is not one-sided. It will be reciprocal. It will be mutually beneficial. And I believe we were able to share on this, and that is the biggest result that I have seen today.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
U.S. Steel deal. So you're saying that is this a restructuring of the deal that's happening, and then will you approve?
They're doing it as an investment, no longer a purchase.
Okay.
I didn't want it purchased, but investment I love. And they're going to do a big investment, subject to getting the deal done.
And that's
they'll be doing
you
a
would
big.
approve, where the US,
I'm okay with that, sure.
And for the Prime Minister, what was your argument to the President related to U.S. Steel? And one more on tariffs, Mr. President, if I could. You said on tariffs that you'd like them to be reciprocal back and forth. What was the reception from the Japanese Prime Minister when you said that, or when you talked about it?
Well, we didn't discuss tariffs too much. We really discussed many other things, including the pipeline in Alaska, which I think is going to be maybe the most exciting thing with Doug and Chris. We discussed that at length, the pipeline. I mean, it seemed to be of great interest to them. It's we have potentially more oil and gas than in Saudi Arabia, just in Alaska. We have the most of any country in the world. It's a big asset for the United States, but we haven't used it. We go to Venezuela, we go to other places to take oil and gas, and we have more than anybody. It's an amazing phenomenon that took place over the last 4 years. Nobody understands it, including the people that were in charge of it. They had no clue what they were doing. So it was a big problem. They were surprised, actually, too. They were saying, why didn't they wouldn't sell them LNG. They wouldn't sell it. Japan wanted to buy LNG, and Biden wouldn't sell it. And I'm trying to figure that one out. Maybe it was the environment. You might answer that question. He's curious about that himself, I think. Thank you very much. If you want to answer that, you may, about LNG, that the United States wouldn't sell you LNG.
That was a really unfortunate thing, but the current administration, the previous administration was not allowing the LNG to be exported to us. I believe that President Trump, on the day of his inauguration, allowed us to resume this importing. I think this is something that is really wonderful for us. And as the country of Japan, we are interested in importing not just LNG, but also bioethanol, ammonia, and other other resources at a stable price, a reasonable price from the United States. And we also want to improve the trade deficit that the U.S. has towards Japan. So if we are able to buy those at a stable and reasonable price, I think it would be a wonderful situation. And for that, I am very appreciative to President Trump. And we also look forward to LNG and hope that it's a success.
I want to just say that on the ethanol, Iowa is going to be very happy. All of the Nebraska, all of our farm states are going to be very happy. They want ethanol, and we'll be able to provide it. So our farmers, who I like and they like me, I think they're going to be very, very happy. We've opened the sale of LNG immediately. Actually, we did it a few days ago. And China, right now, not only China, everybody wants to buy it. We have more than anybody, and they're all buying it. But Japan in particular, we're very happy that they're going to start immediately. And we can supply it to the world, but we're supplying it to Japan, and they're going to always be right up in the front of the line. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Mr. Prime Minister, I have a question for you as well, but Mr. President, I'll start with you. Well, quickly to follow up on what Peter was asking, have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending in the federal budget?
Yes, I have Pentagon, education, just about everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through. And I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed. It was very, very unfortunate. You're not going to find anything like that, but you're going to find a lot. And I've instructed him to go check out education, to check out the Pentagon, which is the military. And, sadly, you'll find some things that are pretty bad. But I don't think proportionally you're going to see anything like we just saw.
FBI has turned over a list to the Justice Department of the FBI agents who worked on the January 6 rioters cases. Are you planning to fire the FBI agents who worked on those investigations?
No, but I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that. I got to know a lot about that business, that world. I got to know a lot about that world, and we had some corrupt agents, and those people are gone, or they will be gone, and it'll be done quickly and very surgically. Did you have a question for the Prime Minister? Talk up.
Are those the ones who worked on the January 6th?
I don't know. I know we have some that are very corrupt and we don't like it. We're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI. Kash Patel is going to do a great job. And we're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI, which has been hurt very badly. It's been devastated over the last 4 years.
You have just been meeting for the first time with President Trump. The last administration famously did not have hardly any, if at all, contact with North Korea. President Trump certainly did the last time he was in office. Would you like to see him resume that contact and also that in-person meeting that he had with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un?
That is something that the United States needs to determine on its own, and it's not something that we should request. Having said that, but for example, in Vietnam or Singapore, the President of the United States, President Trump, was able to meet with Kim Jong-un. I think that's a very positive development. So now that President Trump is in power again, if we are able to move towards resolving issues with the North Korea, I think it would be great. And of course, for us, that includes not only denuclearization, but also resolving the abductee issue. And so not only the victims of the abductees, but also their families too are aging. And so our time is limited. So if the President of the United States, if President Trump is able to resolve this issue, we do understand that it's a Japan issue first and foremost. Having said that, we would love to continue to cooperate with them.
It's actually a good question, and we will have relations with North Korea, with Kim Jong-un. I got along with him very well, as you know. I think I stopped the war. I think if I wouldn't have won that particular election, you would have ended up in a very bad situation. But I did, and we had a good relationship, and I think it's a very big asset for everybody that I do get along with him. I get along with him, he gets along with me, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I can tell you that Japan likes the idea because their relationship is not very good with him. And if I can have a relationship with not only him, but other people throughout the world where there seem to be difficulties, I think that's a tremendous asset for the world, not just the United States. Go ahead.
I have a question for you and for the Prime Minister as well. Mr. President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. And is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions, and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in. So I've instructed him, go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target, and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
As you know, the bulk of federal spending is Social Security, Medicare, programs like that. Would you like to see him look at those programs as well?
Well, they don't really have to be looked at by him. They can be looked at by us. Social Security will not be touched. It'll only be strengthened. We have illegal immigrants on Social Security, and we're going to find out who they are and take them out. We have illegal immigrants in other Medicare. We found a lot of bad people, a lot of people that shouldn't be on, that were put on through California. A lot of them come out of California. We're not going to stand for that. So we're going to strengthen our Social Security, et cetera. We're not going to touch it other than to make it stronger. But we have people that shouldn't be on, and those people we have to weed out. Most of them, or many of them so far, have been illegal immigrants. They shouldn't even be in the country. Do you have a question for the Prime Minister?
I do. Mr. Prime Minister, the President's affinity for tariffs is well known. If the U.S. places tariffs on Japanese imports, would Japan retaliate?
I am unable to respond to a theoretical question. That's the official answer that we have.
That's a very good answer. Very good answer. Wow. That's very good. He knows what he's doing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That was the press conference with Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister. And I don't know that there's any really big developments that came out of that. Like huge. I guess there was this question about whether Trump would allow Nippon Steel to buy U.S. steel, and Trump says they're going to invest in it and not buy it. But sometimes we see these major things come out of these press conferences. I don't know that we saw anything super major. What about you guys? How about what did you guys think? Let me know. Let's see. But Trump is supposed to sign executive orders, but I don't know when that's going to happen. The schedule is all behind today. Van Gambler thought it was entertaining. Api says, I think it's refreshing. I want to see that last answer again. I want to play the last answer. Mike McAllister says, I would say 1 trillion investment is huge. I don't know the details on all of that. Hold on real quick.
Would Japan retaliate? If the U.S. places tariffs on Japanese imports, would Japan retaliate?
I am unable to respond to a theoretical question. That's the official answer that we have.
There you go. That was the answer. Reflector BG said, good press conference, good answers. Yeah, the Prime Minister said he intends to increase the Japanese investment in the United States to an unprecedented amount of $1 trillion. I mean, you know, so I don't know how that's going to play out in practice. We'll have to see. Daniel Boberson says, anything is not major after the announcement of wanting to take over Gaza. Let's see. By the way, a quick thank you to Martin Gingrich. Martin, I haven't heard any announcement on RFK confirmation voting. I can try to see. I haven't heard anything myself, so I'm not sure when that would be. I'm not sure when it would be. Also, thanks to Andreas. Andreas thinks that Trump tried to downplay tariffs and emphasize the oil project in Alaska, possibly to drive oil price further down. Thank you, Andreas and Boomer Wow, who says best friend Japan. Thank you, Dan Holm and Underground Gremlin and Push Praj, who said, what do you think about Modi's visit? Is Modi visiting the U.S.? I'm not sure. I hadn't heard about that. Yes, Modi is going to visit next week. India's Prime Minister Modi will be visiting Trump next week. Well, there might be a press conference, so we'll cover it if there is. The New York Times had an article saying the Indian Parliament was in an uproar yesterday over reports that migrants who were in the U.S. illegally from India were mistreated while being deported on an American military plane, including being shackled during the journey. The Times pointed out that deportations from the U.S. to India are not new, but most of them would involve a commercial flight, not a military flight. And the Times says that the use of military aircraft, as it has with some other countries, has touched a nerve in India. So that's something going on. Yeah, I mean, so maybe this will get discussed next week. You can see here, opposition lawmakers protest alleged mistreatment of Indian deportees by U.S. That's from AP. Hold on, let me see if I can find something here. India's parliament was disrupted yesterday as opposition lawmakers protested the alleged mistreatment of 104 Indian immigrants deported by the U.S., says AP. A U.S. military plane carrying Indian migrants arrived Wednesday in a northern Indian city, the first such flight to the country as part of a crackdown ordered by Trump's administration. A parliament member in India said the deportees were handcuffed, had their legs chained, and even struggled to use the washroom. Her colleague called it degrading. The protest mirrored concerns after a contentious deportation flight to Brazil on January 25th prompted that country's government to seek an explanation for the degrading treatment of 88 passengers. U.S. civilian authorities also shackle migrants by their ankles and wrists, but deportation flights to India are rare. There were 3 such flights last year, and they were U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement flights. The Trump administration's use of military aircraft for deportations to countries including Guatemala and Ecuador is a departure from previous practice, which relied on the use of chartered and commercial planes. So maybe there'll be some discussion about this next week. Indians were arrested more than 14,000 times for illegally entering the U.S. on the Canadian border during a 12-month period that attended September 30th. That amounted to 60% of all arrests on the northern border, the Canadian border. And more than 10 times the number 2 years ago. Indians were arrested more than 25,000 times on the Mexican border during that time, but a relatively smaller number there. Since 2009, around 15,000 Indian nationals have been deported back to India from the U.S. When is the Trump is supposed to sign executive orders. If we're still on the air, I'm happy to show that to you. I don't know how much that's going to be delayed by, though. I think it's going to be soon. The Nome press conference. I don't know that I have video of the Nome press conference. The last I saw about the plane in Nome is that they hadn't found the plane. Yeah, I mean, literally, they just posted 35 minutes ago the Nome, Alaska Volunteer Fire Department, and they said that they're still searching for the plane. It's a plane with 10 people on it, including the pilot, that disappeared last night. It was a regional airline flying in Alaska. There are 2 planes. Bering Air launched 2 King Airs earlier today to fly, at first light, to fly grid patterns to canvass the area. 2 helicopters are looking to go in 20 minutes. The Coast Guard is preparing to drop a buoy to track and monitor ice movement to inform the search. The International Guard will help with searching in their helicopter. Roger Shoemaker says the families must be in anguish. Yeah, it's terrible. But no announcement of any kind of anything that they have found in the search for that plane. Oh, Alex Takatsky reports that the sign on the front of the USAID headquarters in D.C. has now, literally the letters that were on the building saying that have been removed. They have removed the letters. Yes, the press conference is over. I'll say post coverage, just so people know. It is over. You can rewind and watch it. So that's an agency that had that's a major government agency, which in the span of weeks has just been basically shut down. Had a budget of over $50 billion. And the vast majority of the employees are being let go. All but less than 300 of the 10,000 or so employees will be let go tonight at 11:59 p.m. I'm just waiting to see if there's anything about the executive order signing. Again, I'd like that to show that to you if it's not too long, but I don't know when exactly it's going to be. Thank you, Richard Foley, for your support. I appreciate it, Richard Foley. Hasseldehoff says, how does this end the Ukraine war? Brayton says, Trump meets with Zelensky next week. He's not going to tip his hand to Putin. Trump did say that he's planning on meeting with Zelensky next week. Yeah, Avion, thanks for mentioning this. Again, U.S. Coast Guard says Coast Guard and partner agencies to hold virtual press briefing for a missing aircraft case near Nome, Alaska. Link in the press release below. I'm not aware that anything's actually been found. But yes, 10 people were on that plane. You know what I think I'm going to do here? So we have been on the air. We've been covering this press conference. You know, I'm going to see if I can find any word on when he's signing these executive orders, but I'm not sure when that's going to be. Kyle Cheney says lawyers for the government say, I'm a little confused about this. He says, Kyle Cheney with Politico says, lawyers for the government say at the end of the day, 2,200 USAID employees will be placed on paid leave. 500 are already on leave. 600 will be kept on. But there's, I think, around 10,000 employees, so I don't know what's going to happen to the rest of them. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Real quick, I'll mention this. One of our viewers mentioned Flight Radar 24. So what I'm going to do is this. If you go to Flight Radar 24 and you go up here, you can see a plane. That is a plane, a Ryanair. I assume that maybe is doing a search. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a plane. Looks like it's doing a search for these planes are searching here. This one and this one are doing a search, looking for the missing plane that went down and that stopped transmitting in that area last night. All right, so look, I need to take a break and I need to eat something. And I don't know if I'm going to do a stream just to cover a press conference when my impression is that nothing has been found in the search for that plane. So I'm going to do that. If there's big update. Oh, by the way, thank you Firestar though, who says getting rid of USAID is 2.5% of Elon's goal of $2 trillion. He reaches that without cutting Medicare, Medicaid together. $3 trillion, also military. There's his $600 billion. If he wants his... So Firestar thus says if Elon wants to reach his goal, he needs to cut things like military, Medicare, and Medicaid. President Trump did say in the press conference today he's going to have Elon Musk look at the military, at the Department of Defense. We'll see. He also said he didn't think he'd find as much there as at USAID. But thank you, Firestar. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know what? I need about 1 minute. I might stay on to show you the Trump signing the executive orders. I need just a minute here. I need just a minute. So just hang on 1 minute. I need 1 minute. All right? If you give me a minute, I'll figure it out. We might stay on for a few minutes just to show you that. All right, give me 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm coming right back in 1 minute. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Okay, that was like a minute. Do we have the executive order thing yet? Not yet. So we're kind of doing some bonus coverage right now. Oops, hang on. The Department of Government Efficiency, which is the group run by Elon Musk in the Trump administration, posted pictures of the U.S. Agency for International Development before and after the name has been taken off the sign. See, these are the pictures they posted. There's the before and there's the after. That happened just a short while ago. Again, it's pretty incredible. This was an agency, one of the largest aid agencies in the world, with a budget of over $50 billion. And just in weeks, most of the people are being fired, reportedly, and the building has had the sign taken off of it. Oh, hang on one second. Give me 1 moment. I need 1 minute. Hold on. All right, we're good to go. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. I'm trying to get you coverage of Trump announcing executive orders. Oh, that's coming up right now, I guess. All right, hang on a moment. Hang on. Hang on a second here. I'm seeing AFP says coming up. Oh, that's late. Hold on, that's late. AFP says, I don't know if we'll stay on for that. AFP says around 4 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to go. Does AP say anything? Yes, the AP and Reuters have changed the start time till 4. Yeah, I'm going to take a break now because it's I don't even know if that'll start on time. I figured if it started in like 5 minutes or something, I could do it. But we came on to cover the press conference. We covered the press conference. I need to take a break. So, yeah. So and again, it's not like it's supposed to be some huge, major, earth-shattering executive order announcement. I figured I'd show it to you. And regarding the virtual press conference that's coming up at 4 about the Coast Guard, about the search for the plane, best from what I can tell, they have not found the plane in Alaska yet. So I don't believe that's going to be a major announcement. Also, I don't know, but again, that given those things, I'm going to wrap up this broadcast right now. So I really appreciate you guys. If there's big news tonight, we'll come back on the air and cover it. But I really appreciate you joining for the press conference coverage. And again, if there's big news later, we'll cover it. But thanks for being here, and thanks for posting your comments in the chat and sending me your comments, letting me read them on the air as well. And huge thanks. And subscribe and follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. And I will post updates about the news on my X account while we're not on the air, which you can follow over there on X. At Lookner on X is where I post breaking news updates. So follow over there and turn on the notifications for the channel. We have a notifications system we set up. It works awesome. You sign up once, it's free. You get sent a notification whenever we go live, which is great because I can't tell you in advance when big news is going to happen. So it'll help you not miss a stream. Sign up for the notifications. Thank you so much to our, you can find the notifications link in the description of this video, also on YouTube and Facebook. It's right there in the description. Thanks so much to our moderators for being here. They are the ones who make it so that we can have chat rooms. We could not have the chat rooms without our moderators, like Roberts May Queen, Janet B. Thank you. Over there on YouTube, and all of our other YouTube moderators there. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Over on Twitch, people like Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn. I got that fire, Surly Devin Tariag. Thank you for moderating there. Paul Anderson, K. Larry Body, Christina Neal on Facebook. Thanks for modding over there. Thanks to all of our mods. Very much appreciated. Also, shout out to Jesse 1978 USA for the bits on Twitch. Thank you. And QBat, thanks for the gift sub and for subscribing on Twitch. Thank you, QBat. Thanks to everybody who donated. So nice of you guys. That is what allows this channel to be on the air. So I really appreciate your support. I think I thanked everybody. Oh, Baronico. I owe thanks to Baronico, our member. But very much appreciate the support from Firestar and everybody else. And if you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thanks for letting the channel exist with your support. Reminder also, we have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not live. A lot of our viewers like to do it. It's on the Discord chat. It's called the Discord chat. Check out the Discord chat. It's free. The link is the same as to sign up for the notifications. And thanks to our Discord mods for all your help. Our Discord mods over there on Discord. Thank you. Another good way to know when we're coming live, going on the air live, follow us on Agenda Free TV on X. I always post there before we go live, saying we're going to go live, and I post updates about the channel there. Agenda Free TV on X. Okay, go over, follow if you go to X and you're on X, follow us on X. And if you watch us on YouTube, I would suggest turning on notifications over there. That can help you figure out when we're live. But to turn on your YouTube notifications, what you got to do is after you subscribe to the channel, you got to click this bell, and then you choose all notifications. So if you're subscribed on YouTube, make sure you also have the bell checked and you've chosen all notifications. Okay, also shout out to our Facebook subscribers for supporting the channel, like Robert Rial II, Kay Lowry Body, Eve Richards, Lou Green, Michael Clayton. Really appreciate all of our Facebook subscribers. Thanks for subscribing over there. Hopefully I'm getting the people who are in the chat. Thank you. Also, our Twitch subscribers, Wall Street Shaggy, Night Owl, Big Ball of Yarn, Factory Rejects MX, Gina Pina, Psyops, Cole K. Meister, Douthis, My Mind Spray. Yeah, as My Mind Spray says, I think he might sign an executive order unbanning plastic straws. He said he was going to do that at some point. He posted about it today. Thanks, Billy Joe, Mr. Bigley Incredible, Simp Nasty Scrimp for being subscribers, Geeg, Redefine Happiness. I don't know what the initial... Is a ban on like in government uses or something like that. Yeah, it's for, as Axios says, it's for in the federal government. It was a Biden area plan to phase out plastic straws in the federal government, and Trump is going to announce an executive order reversing that, says Axios. Thanks to Redefine Happiness for subscribing on Twitch, and also I said Geeg, and all of our other Twitch subscribers, Billy Joe, thank you, and our YouTube members. Thanks to our YouTube members like Joe Hart, Turned Off, Benny Hill, Jay Nosewitch, Nan B, Evelyn in Maine, Eric Johnson, UV Lightning, J.K. Sinar, Roger Shoemaker, Waltham Cack, Trace Benny Hill, Burla Dome, Evelyn in Maine, NY Committee, I Love Reading, Music Muse, El Kearney-ish, all of our other YouTube members, thank you, Envy, and all of our other viewers as well. Thanks so much to our viewers, Rob Fossil, who said it's going to be busy for the foreseeable future. No, the Alaska plane from last I have seen has not been found, unfortunately. Thank you, Christy Claff, for watching over there on Facebook. Janet Carol Legg, thank you for watching. And thank you, Naggin Shell, for watching over there on Twitch, and all of our other viewers. Gary Baines. All right, so wrapping up this broadcast, I appreciate you joining for our live coverage of the Trump press conference. And hang on a moment here. And yeah, if there is big news tonight, we will cover it, as we always do. All right, guys. Oh, and thanks so much, Crazy Yoda, for the gift memberships. That's super nice of you. Thanks for the gift memberships, Crazy Yoda. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. We will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.